Hey Clashers, just not too long ago we had the big Builder Base 2.0 rework update dropping, and by now most of the bugs are fixed. So I thought we would just judge the update on a ranking from 0 points, which are not that good, and up to 10 points, which would be then a really great update. In this one I will share my honest opinion about different things, how I feel about them, like the new Expo defense, how I feel about the rework of the different troops and so on, and I will just go through all of that one by one. But one big thing I want to mention before we're diving into the more detailed part is the bugs, the crashes, and everything which is surrounded by the update. And I feel like a lot of people are kinda, not that happy with that, which is kinda obvious and totally understandable. But those crashes, those bugs are not listed in my ranking, or not like represented in my ranking, because I feel like everything which you can fix quickly over time should not be judged on. The more important thing is, does the gameplay feel nice? Does the system feel nice? Those are things which cannot really be changed in a maintenance break, and bugs, they can be changed quite quickly. With that being said, let's dive in and let's start kind of with the sneak peek schedule we had. We had first off the rework of the troops to make them feel more heroic, more different, more special with their active abilities. And I think Supercell kind of nailed it. The only strange thing here is that overall 4 troops had no rework, or not really an active ability. They have a passive ability still, which are the barbarians, the archers, the minion, and the hogs. Those have only the passive ability, where I have to say I don't really know if I feel good or bad about it, because to some degree it makes it sometimes more easier to control everything, but sometimes you kind of wish that the hog rider having an active ability, whatever it could be, I don't know. But this is like, I'm not really sure where to put it, if I would say that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. But I thought I would just mention it as well here, because as I said, we will just go through all of that. A little bit on the balancing part. I think overall it's really hard to judge for a lot of people the balance, because those things are balanced for attacking as maxed and defending versus maxed, which means if you have a maxed cannon core, if you have a maxed baby dragon, it's supposed to attack maxed bases, which for most people are, well, out of reach for now, because you don't have tons of magic items, because, well, you should not really invest all of the money in offers and stuff like that. With that being said, it will take some time for everyone to judge how the balance feels like. The only thing I have experienced so far is that minions and the dropships feel pretty useless. I have to say, barbarians and archers in my opinion are fine. Players like Cynthia, who is like in the top 5 now, I think, in Builder Base, who is playing, I think, mainly mass cannon cards with like barbarians and archers, who is like doing insanely well with that. Well, they're totally fine to use, but it's not like the main carry in your army, which is fine. I mean, sneaky archer spam was quite annoying, so I think it's kind of nice that they have to be used more strategic to like trigger traps and stuff like that. But let's move on to the next topic, and that is the new loot system and the new trophy system. The new loot system, I have to say, is amazing. I know that some people are not that happy about how much loot you can generate, which means like they think that's not that much, but at the same time, you're supposed to, well, if you want to like generate a ton of loot, you should grind for that. And this mode is perfect for this, because you do not have any time whatsoever to cook your army, to wait for an opponent. You don't have to activate a training potion to activate, like to play non-stop or things like that. No, you can really play Builder Base non-stop if you want to. You can grind a lot. And there's other ways as well to generate elixir, for example, where you can just like open the app and deploy troops, work with the app and stuff like that. So if you want to really go that try-hard route, it's fine as well. Like, you can go for that as well. Overall, I just think it's fine with how the loot is generated. I think it's kind of nice. I don't think it should be completely like overflood with resource and everything should be just like everyone having like millions and millions in their storages, because remember, you don't lose resources. That's the first thing. And the one thing which I really want to highlight is that you can attack non-stop. You can have fun in this mode non-stop after they have fixed the bugs, which was a annoying thing. Next one, the trophy system. I'm not sure about that one. Overall, I like the system. It's kind of similar to like Legend League from Home Village, but one thing I would like to change is that the trophies you gain and lose are more dependent on how many trophies you and your opponent have, which makes it then harder if you're really in that in those top positions, which would make it harder then to generate the loot, or not the loot, the trophies overall. I think that would be kind of cool as well. There's this catch-up mechanic where you can climb them maybe quicker to some degree if you're taking higher trophy players. That would be kind of cool. That would be the only thing I would maybe like to see changed. But otherwise, overall, as I said, the attacking system and the system overall, I feel, I think it's really great. With that being said, we now had to talk about the troops. We had to talk about the loot system. Now let's talk about Bitter Hall 10. Let's start with the defense. And I have seen a lot of people complaining about that the expo not being that creative. But I feel like, and don't worry, there's going to be a negative thing for me as well, but I don't understand that specific negative thing. I just want to get my point of view out, which is we have a Clash universe with Clash Royale and Clash of Clans, and obviously they want to make sure that they're not keep adding stuff to make sure that things are appearing as well in both games, because overall it's the same universe. So if people are saying, oh, they have copied this from Clash of Clans into Clash Royale, or they have copied this from Clash Royale into Clash of Clans, they're just keeping the universe kind of logical, I guess. So that's not really a big problem to me. What I don't like are defenses which only attack like or target one thing, only air or only ground. I think how this expo should have worked, in my opinion, is yes, I think it's great that you can change the mode and have impact on how your base is going to do, but I would have liked to see like a base damage. Right now it's like dealing with a little bit above 100 DPS or something like that. What is if it would deal like a certain amount of damage, let's say 50 damage as base damage? It does not matter if it's a ground or air expo, it will always deal 50 damage. But if you put it to air, it's going to deal another, let's say 100 additional damage. Those numbers, by the way, they're just like for showcasing you the system, not like really, okay, this is the perfect balance or whatever, okay? So really don't get that wrong, but it is more about making sure that it always feels somewhat useful, because it's strange if you get a new defense like the expo and you put it to ground, everyone is attacking with P.E.K.K.A. You're putting to air, everyone is attacking with P.E.K.K.A. You're putting it to ground, everyone is attacking with Baby Dragon, and it's just not doing anything. So I would like to see this base damage, let's say 50, and then if you put it to air, it's getting 100 bonus damage to air troops. It's only dealing the 50 to ground, but at least it's doing something. The same thing, obviously, the other way around. If you put it to ground and someone is attacking with P.E.K.K.A., it's dealing the 50 base damage and the 100 bonus damage, because it is on ground mode. I think I would have liked to see that to make it, I don't know, feel always useful, because if I invest a ton of resources, a lot of time into upgrading the building or a lot of magic items, then I want to have this building feeling strong somehow. And this, to me, the expo is not really hitting the mark, at least in my opinion. So for me, it's not about like the expo being not creative enough or anything like that. For me, it's more like the mechanic, which I don't really like that much about the expo. But now let's move on to the offensive part of Builder Base 10. And I think overall Supercell really nailed that one, in my opinion. You can kind of use them as in a spammy way, kind of like with the Inferno mode if you want to. But as well, you can do really crazy strategic things if you have the, I'll always call it the Electro Dragon mode, where you can really chain a lot of buildings back to back, and if you tank certain defenses, you can really strategically chain an entire base, which is really cool. So I really like the design, and as well the graphic. I mean, the graphical design of that troop is just, that is amazing. It looks amazing, it feels really, really solid to use and really fun to use, and I think that's the purpose of a troop. So the defense of Builder 10, I did not like that much mechanic-wise, but the offensive part is really nice. Let's now touch one last thing about like the strategy part, because a lot of people are kind of, as well on Reddit, I think it's kind of funny that there's so many people like showing that mass P.E.K.K.A. or mass Baby Dragon works and stuff. And I think if this would be the other way around, if those mass attacks would not work at all, I think a lot of people would be upset, because I think strategic attacks, they should always be the better attacks. Like in Home Village Lalo. I mean, Lalo is super strategic, but at the end of the day, if you spam in 10 Yetis and a couple of Super Wizards, you might have success as well. And the same thing is in Bitter Base. You can use all Baby Dragons, you can use all P.E.K.K.A, and yes, especially if you're taking non-max spaces, you're going to have success to some degree. But as soon as you're taking max spaces, you're going to struggle, and maybe you're not even making it like through the first stage. And trust me, I have seen a lot of people struggling with that. With that being said, I just want to get that out of the way, because I see so many people are like having no clue and trying to like do whatever about this. So I just thought, let's just mention it at least in this video. But now the question is, how many points would I give overall to the update, with having now mentioned every single piece of the sneak peek schedule we have watched earlier this month. Overall, with all things mentioned, I think I would give 9 out of 10 points. The only negative points for me, as I said, is the trophy system, which we still have to wait a little bit on, so I not really get a lot of points which are getting removed from the 10 possible points. Like not a lot which is getting removed because of that, because we still have to see how it's going to evolve with the trophy system, but that might be then turned into like a more lower score. But overall, the expo, that's to me like a bigger thing. The expo is, I don't know, just the mechanic. So that's, let's say 0.5 points, which I get lower from 10. And one thing I have not mentioned yet is that there should be some quality of life changes, or there should be some quality of life things already in the first update. I mean, if there's a big rework, there's some things which should be in there. And one big thing which is in there, or like which should be in there, and it might be more like a personal thing, is that if you're pushing, you should have the same thing as in Home Village, that if you're on Legend, you have a separate possibility in your base editor to choose the base you want to defend with. It should be not the base being your home village. Like if someone is visiting you in Home Village and you're watching the base of the rank 1 player, that is not the base he's defending with. Instead, he has like a hidden base to make sure that not everyone can copy it. And this feature is completely missing in Bitter Base. I think it would come at some point, but this is like still a thing which should be there in the first place. I mean, that is just super annoying. It's just super annoying, and base spreading is crazy. Bases are getting shared so much and so quickly. I don't like that. And that's overall why I give it 9 out of 10 points. Let me know your opinion down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys back tomorrow for the next one. Until then, see ya and bye bye.